Welcome to Newswire. I'm Mike Blewitt in for Craig Mish today. Excited to have you here on SportsGrid, catching you up with all the news as the show states. So a lot of action, obviously, per usual, and we recap last night's Monday Night Football matchup in the Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh taking on John Harbaugh, and the big brother John gets the victory going on the road and defeating Jim's Chargers. Really competitive game throughout, but Lamar Jackson and the Ravens get it done. A lot big explosive plays. Justice Hill, Derrick Henry, Lamar being Lamar, and throwing a couple of key touchdown passes to Bateman and to Mark Andrews with a really spectacular catch in the end zone. Here's the comments from John Harbaugh on getting the victory on the road in L.A.
You kind of live these things close to your heart, and these are just huge battles every week in this league. And going against a team that's this well coached by all their coaches and by my brother Jim, best coach in the National Football League, what he's done with that team and how hard they play and what they did. Hats off to them, because they're going to win a lot more football games this year, and they're going to be a major factor in the playoffs. So this is a big win for our guys. I'm proud of our guys. I'm proud of the way they came out and responded. You know, after the first 10 points, we're down 10-0, and our guys step up. I think they had 2 field goals until the last drive on defense, and our offense had 5 or 6 scoring drives right in a row there to make a difference. So that's what I appreciate about our guys. They really don't flinch. They keep fighting. They got locked in on some details, and they played really good winning football. So proud of them for that. Now we have a quick turnaround. We got to get back about 6:30 in the morning and get to work on a very good Eagles team.
So the Ravens pulled to 8 victories, just a half game behind the Steelers in the AFC North by way of them not having yet had their bye. Big matchups this week as the Steelers take on the Bengals, and the Ravens will face the Philadelphia Eagles before their bye. So John used to coach in Philadelphia, so it'll be a homecoming of sorts for him playing the Eagles there in Baltimore. But AFC North still yet to be decided. Those teams with 8 wins. Steelers have the victory over the Ravens, but they will play again later on this season. They're firmly in the playoff mix. Are the Chargers still in the playoff mix? Clearly so, even though they fall 3 games behind the Chiefs with this loss. Here's Jim Harbaugh commenting on the loss last evening.
We'll regroup, and they played better football than we did tonight. But more importantly, we know what kind of team we are and what we're capable of, and regroup.
Coach, is there any news on JK?
No, I don't have any update. I know it's a knee.
What did your brother tell you after the game when you guys met up?
I always said the same thing. Congratulated him on the victory, and love you.
Do you feel like John was maybe a little bit extra aggressive tonight, going for that 4th and 1, and then that 2-point conversion, trying to make it a 2-score game? Did you see any extra aggressiveness out of him tonight?
I thought they did a great job in 3rd down and 4th downs. Without a doubt. I mean, 3 for 3 on 4th down. They did a great job on 3rd down as well, over 55%.
So a big victory there for the Ravens. They run for 212 yards. Derrick Henry, 140 on the ground. Justice Hill, an explosive 51-yard touchdown. Zay Flowers, 62 yards receiving. Mark Andrews and Bateman with those touchdowns, as I mentioned. J.K. Dobbins had to leave the game at some point. I think we'll all be tracking his injury news for those of you playing in fantasy leagues and wondering what the Chargers' outlook looks like for the rest of the year. Dobbins had 6 carries for 40 yards. Ladd McConkey, 6 for 83. It's clear in watching the Chargers they need a little bit more help from pass catchers. I'm sure that will be addressed long term for Justin Herbert, but still a team very much in the playoff mix. We'll talk about the NFL in more detail with Jacob Kamiker in about 25 minutes. So other NFL news, DeMarcus Robinson, the Rams receiver, had caught a touchdown pass in Sunday Night Football. He was arrested for traveling more than 100 miles an hour on the US 101 northbound and suspected of being under the influence as well. So trouble ahead for DeMarcus Robinson. We'll see how the Rams and the NFL handle that. Secondarily, Jamison Williams will not face charges after a review. He had an October 8th traffic stop in Wayne County in Michigan, and all the charges that were stemming from that traffic stop will be dropped, as they have found no evidence of him violating any statutes or warrants. Patriots' Jabrill Peppers, who has been on the commissioner's exempt list for some period of time for very serious charges, including strangulation and drug possession, was removed from that commissioner exempt list, and it is up to the Patriots to decide what they want to do next with him. Does he become part of the active roster? It will not be impacted by league sanctioning from here forward. And a quote here, "We understand the league's investigation into the matter will continue, as will the legal process. We will await the outcome of both before making any further comment." So it sounds like the Patriots are going to take a wait-and-see approach. The jury trial is scheduled for January 22nd at a pretrial hearing in Quincy, Massachusetts. Moving on off the gridiron and on to the basketball court. Huge games yesterday. There are over 60 college basketball games today, so there is a lot for you to watch and learn about teams early on in the season, and plenty, obviously, to wager on. Auburn comes back in the second half to beat number 4 Auburn. Has a huge second half comeback to beat number 5 Iowa State, and hits a shot with a second left to grab the victory 83-81. Memphis pulls off an upset of number 2 UConn. They win 99-97 in overtime. They were winning this game by 10 points with 3 minutes left, blow the entire lead, then come back and get the victory in overtime. A massive win for Penny Hardaway and the Memphis Tigers. Dayton had an 18-point halftime lead over North Carolina, and Carolina comes all the way back to win 92-90, their second consecutive game in which they've come back from 18 or more down. We'll have more on that from Hubert Davis a little bit later. And Feast Week rolls on. Like I said, 60 games today, plenty more action. We've got some interesting windows a little bit later this week. Arkansas and Illinois take on each other in Kansas City after that Bears-Lions game. So CBS racking up hoping to rack up huge ratings with that college basketball contest. A lot of NBA action. The NBA Cup rolls on tonight, 5 games. The Knicks blew out the Nuggets last night, 145-118. Brooklyn gets a victory in Golden State, 128-120 as 11.5-point underdogs. The Raptors moved to 4-14 as the Pistons dropped them 102-100. A Jaden Ivey buzzer beater, the deciding shot there, and the Celtics hammer the Clippers 126-94. Moving on back to the gridiron and the college side. Obviously, the rankings are going to come out tonight. We'll talk with Bill Bender in just about 3 minutes on those topics. But big news just came right before this show started, and North Carolina has decided to move on from Mac Brown. They play NC State this week. That will be his final game as North Carolina head coach. His second stint in Chapel Hill. He had a quote earlier, and his statement is, "While this was not the perfect time and way in which I imagined going out, no time will ever be the perfect time. I've spent 16 seasons at North Carolina and will always cherish the memories and relationships Sally and I have built while serving as head coach." So he's obviously sad to be moving on, but North Carolina, unfortunately, blown out by Boston College on Saturday. That drops them to 6-5 on the season and 3-4 in conference. When we come back, like I said, we'll have Bill Bender from the Sporting News. We'll go over his top 14 and see what he thinks the rankings will look like. We've got some action tonight where Toledo is an 8.5-point road favorite in Akron with a total of 48. The Buffalo Bulls are 22.5-point home favorites against Kent State. Lots of college action today. We'll talk about some of it with Bill Bender.